The heart of every organization is its people. We're taking action to take care of them, to develop a world-class team, now and into the future. This is Empowering Excellence with Art and Frankie.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back for another episode of Empowering Excellence. I am here today with my vivacious co-host, Frankie Ramos. Frankie, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. You're coming in at a 10 this morning, though.
I know I was telling Ben right before you got over here that I actually got 8 hours of sleep last night, which never happened for me.
Oh, this is the new art. We need 8 hours all the time.
I haven't even had any caffeine.
I think 10's good.
I'll see if I can tone it down just a little bit.
No, it's good. Because while you got 8 hours, I think gotten maybe 12.
Well, you were on the road.
I was on the road. You know, I always have airline adventures.
What was the airline?
It was American.
American? They probably have a great CIO and great IT support and services, just like we do at NAVWAR.
I bet you if they had our CIO, they would be better.
Oh, I bet too. And well, speaking of which, today we're lucky to have our Chief Information Officer from NAVWAR here with us as our special guest star.
Yes, I am excited. Just happens to be here.
I am too.
Solve all our world problems.
That's right. Welcome, Ben.
Thank you.
Ben Motten is the NAVWAR CIO. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure.
What was your journey to becoming the NAVWAR CIO?
Do the Cliff Notes version. I used to be a research scientist, so that was a lot of fun. But then I realized I was going to be poor for most of my life. And a few years into my PhD, I was like, just decided to take some time to volunteer at a computer store, learn to build computers and then network, and eventually became a Microsoft trainer. And after a little bit of that, created my own company, Managed Services IT. Did that for about 13 years. So it was great. Just had to make some choices, decided I wanted to try something different, and kind of had a fork in the road, no pun intended, to choose between...
I think that was a pun intended.
It might have been.
Maybe not.
Little bit. And the choice was to move up to LA and help build out a larger managed services providing capability up there, or do something with the Navy. And I thought, I've never done that and might be fun. And so here we are. I started at OneNet. It was discovered that I might know something about running projects, and that took off from there. It's been fun ever since.
We are benefiting from your presence here. So talk a little bit about what you see as your highest priorities.
It's one, dealing with our legacy infrastructure, our legacy software, sometimes our legacy policies, and getting the tools we need to truly be wartime resilient, which would also be cyber resilient. It's about getting the tools that the workforce needs, the warfighter needs, to be able to execute. And that's not always an easy challenge. No matter what you do for modernization, you're probably going to be touching some aspect of legacy infrastructure at some point. It does present opportunities, but you have to figure out ways to get to that goal and get the technology implemented, but in a way that works for the workforce. I love challenges. I love tackling problems. That's something that's a big focus for us, being able to take advantage of having such a large gap in technology to be able to leapfrog and present opportunities. As I like to say, in all crises present opportunities. We're finding lots of opportunities to divest, to get more efficient, to get leaner, but also to get the capabilities that matter most.
We're a customer-focused organization. We're here to support the NAVWAR workforce in delivering IW capability to our warfighter. So when you look at our legacy infrastructure and maybe our legacy policies, how do you work to get us past some of those things so that we really can support our NAVWAR team and their abilities to deliver to the warfighter?
This is a constant evolution. One thing that we are certainly doing in the shop and have been focused on is the transformation and the really focusing on outcomes, really focusing on ROI, and most importantly, what are you trying to do, right? What's your end state? So when we say meet the mission, what is the mission we're trying to meet? What are the elements that get us to meet that mission? And now we have to figure out how we do that. And more importantly, how are we going to measure that we got it?
Admiral O'Connor would say, how do we know we're winning?
Right. Absolutely. And I love that question in so many different dimensions, right? Because she asks, are we winning? And the important element there is, it's easy. If I said, are you winning? You're going to go, oh, heck yeah, I'm winning. I'm knocking it out of the park. I'm amazing and deserve a promotion, right?
Yes.
And a pay
But
raise.
usually that's included. Sorry, I had something in my throat there. Hopefully you remember. When we ask, are we winning? Now you have to take into the context of the we. You're a part of a very large ecosystem. How are you winning? How are you affecting this? How are you playing into this? If you dissect that down, you go to a lower level and you go to like kind of a program level. You really should be asking, when you're working towards something, one, what are we working towards, right? What does done look like? Why do I care? Or the customer that we're affecting care, right? If you can't answer that question, stop, drop, and roll. You might be on fire. We might want to take a minute and pause. What's the outcome? What's the delivery? It's a more blunt way of just kind of getting after it and bubbling up to the surface. It's very easy to kind of get lost in the sauce. And now this constantly has you reevaluating what's our delivery. And I think we're going to be doing that more than ever in our new environment, where we have to get a little meaner and get after it. Do we have duplicity in our environment? Are we putting things out as quickly as we can, understanding that perfect is the enemy of good enough, right? And I stole that from Barry Tanner. He used to say that all the time. I love it, so I've just made it a part of my lexicon, which means that you got an 80% solution. Go for it. Learn, figure out what's wrong, and iterate. And that's the whole point of Agile, right? It's constant iteration, it's constant feedback, but most importantly, feedback from your customer, feedback from whoever you're trying to impact and affect, so that you can make changes before you create the final product. And you can take this approach with all aspects, whether you're doing that with security first when we're doing our work, or making sure that the user interface looks the way the user wants. We also add sometimes, I think, a lot of complexity. And I try to always apply what I call my AOL principle. Well,
Did you say AOL?
I did say AOL, and your eyebrows went up. The whole idea was, at the time, you had, 14.4, a baud modem, and you'd have to go through all these experiences to get connected. I love your eyebrows, by the way, for anyone. The eyebrows are just constantly going up. I said 14.4 baud, it went up a little bit. I said the internet, it went up higher.
I feel like you're trying to communicate with me, and I'm just looking at you nodding like I have no idea what he's saying. I lost at AOL, and I still have that screeching in my ear of the connecting.
So back in my day, we used to connect to the internet over a phone line, and it would make all sorts of noises and then get connected to the internet.
Yeah.
AOL, they gave you a CD. You put it in a CD tray. If you were lucky enough, you had a 4X CD and not a 1X.
Yeah. No.
There's the eyebrows, just checking. Okay. It got to be so connected with the internet and was so easy that I remember at the time, my mom's like, well, you can't get on the internet without AOL. And I was like, well, bless your heart, Baba. The idea being, if you have to think about your IT and your workforce is thinking about your IT, you probably aren't doing it right, or you've got some problems. And that's just a reality. We're not going to kid ourselves, right? There was boot times on our computers just a few years ago that were 45 minutes for Outlook to open up and populate. Like, you used to turn on your computer, open up Outlook, go get some coffee, because you weren't doing anything on that computer. What a difference 4 or 5 years makes. And so there's been a large effort to divest of redundant programs. Like, we literally had 3 different programs on the same computer doing some of the similar functions, and they were all fighting each other and sometimes would literally lock each other up. And then you, as the user, would just see your computer go to frozen. When we started to focus more on the user experience, and the modern instantiation of this is the Don's world-class alignment metrics, that's really just user-focused. And we literally measured, how long does it take your Outlook to open? How long does it take Internet Explorer to open? And that became the gauge of success. We would call those countervailing metrics. That would be a good metric to kind of keep us in check, because what we found is sometimes we upgraded the bandwidth. And we said, oh, the bandwidth's the problem. And we upgraded the bandwidth, and then nothing changed for the user. And then we found out, well, that user's got a hard drive from 2013, and it's 2020. It's operating at RPMs. It's fun.
Why do you keep looking at Art? Is Art that user that's the drive from 2013?
No, I'm just avoiding the eyebrow, right? Because I said RPMs, so I was like, oh, I'm going to get an eyebrow.
Starting a little bit of a complex over here. Love my Nautilus. Talk about that a little bit. What's going on with
Absolutely.
Nautilus?
So Nautilus is multiple movements kind of being brought into one. Traditionally, we had our MCI devices, and they're going to tie to a server infrastructure. When you log in, it's all local. And as we moved to the cloud, we had the ability to do an analysis of all of our workstations, get rid of some of the redundant programs, and slim it down. We are making the end user experience on the devices much better because you don't have a lot of extra software that was redundant. At the same time, this device is being upgraded to the latest and greatest Windows 11, which is going to be fantastic. Each iteration is getting more secure, better experience for users. And also you're reporting to the cloud. So this allows you that ubiquitous access, but now you're being tied into that zero trust environment as well. It's an all-around improvement of the user experience. It's an all-around improvement of our ability to use this device anywhere and have what we need. And we're also plugging in on the back end to a much more heightened cybersecurity environment that allows us to really know what's going on. If there are bad actors, be able to identify them very quickly and then get them off the network. We're very excited about moving forward with that because that's the next phase. Leaner, more agile, getting after it, and allows us to be in a much better state. People that have Nautilus, you'll noticing that you can go anywhere, and it's going to create an encrypted connection and allow you to get your work done. But more importantly, it's going to operate much more like you would in the commercial environment. Again, if you're thinking about your IT, then that's a problem. When we used to have our workstations, we're thinking about it. When you're on a Nautilus device, you're not thinking about it so much. You're just opening it up, you're getting to work.
What would your message be to the NAVWAR workforce regarding Nautilus?
There are a few more hurdles that we are currently working through, but there's a number of people that can currently go to Nautilus. I haven't had anybody who's like, I'm on Nautilus and I don't like it, right? Everybody's like, my Nautilus is amazing. How do I get a Nautilus? And then other people are always jealous, like, how come they're on Nautilus and I'm not?
Nautilus is an entire Navy thing? This is not just a NAVWAR thing?
It's an
a
entire
question.
Navy thing,
Okay.
yes. PO Digital within NAVWAR is leading that effort. Nautilus, it goes within the suite because you guys may remember Nautilus Virtual Desktop.
Yes.
Right, which allowed us to do a virtual desktop. So this is part of that same suite and family of offerings. When you look at this, this is an evolution. Now we've got the Nautilus Desktop. So we're taking your physical desktop and we're converting it so you report to the same cloud with the same capabilities and the same monitoring, which is fantastic. And all your data is now being pushed and resident there. The beauty is, let's say you drop your device. One, it's encrypted and we're good there. But when we give you your replacement, you just log in, everything comes back down. You're fully configured. You're up and running, and as long as it takes for your information to replicate down to your machine. That's simplicity. It's not I've got to do all these super steps.
Yeah.
And it's getting even easier. So it's all good to finally catching up. The Navy is starting to get to be more cutting edge. In the past, we were behind commercial, but now we're pushing the envelope. We're starting to move at the speed, which presents its own challenges. You've always got to consider that the influx of this much technology, how are you going to get your workforce to easily adopt it, understand it, and consume it? That's a constant process that every company on the planet faces. And so we would be no different. And so now you're seeing a lot of focus on, how are we going to train? How are we going to use? What are the right tools to accomplish what we need to do?
What is one thing you want every NAVWAR employee to know about your team?
My team is outstanding, and I can say that unabashed. I want everybody to know that we want to hear from you, and we're really hoping that you're going to enjoy getting on the journey with us as we move forward, because there's some really exciting new technologies that we've got coming on the horizon, and it's going to give us a lot of new capabilities. I'm looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Well, Ben, we really enjoyed having you on today's podcast episode.
Thank you.
I think it's a great example of empowering excellence.
Absolutely.
My CIO is better than yours.
Aww.
I think we'll end on my CIO is better than yours. That's good. Thanks again. Have a great day. Empowering Excellence with Art and Frankie is a production of the NAVWAR Headquarters Public Affairs Office in association with NAVWAR Corporate Operations. Our podcast production team includes Ed Disco Buckleton, Kara McDermott, and Ramon Go, our digital media specialist who produced today's show. On behalf of Frankie and myself, I am Art Starrett. Have a great Navy day.